and welcome to Bangladesh Today. Bangladesh seems to be moving towards a politically volatile period. The Jamaat-e-Islami, which is a partner of the main opposition Bangladesh National Party, is demanding the release of its leaders, now being tried for war crimes during the Liberation War of 1971. The BNP is also determined to restart hartals and agitations to force the government to put in place a caretaker system before the next general elections. The BNP believes that free and fair polls won't be possible till this happens. The caretaker system had been abolished by the parliament through an amendment to the constitution. To spread more light on this issue, we have with us Jayanta Ghoshal, a senior journalist and an expert on India-Bangladesh relations. Thank you, Jayanta, for speaking to us. I'd like to begin by asking you that, the BNP says that it's going to go back into the streets and there are going to be hartals and agitations in Dhaka as well as in other cities and towns. Now, what do we see? Is it a politically volatile situation just before elections? What's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months?
Absolutely, Smita, because Dhaka is volatile now. And Sheikh Hasina, she is a nice person. She may be a secular leader, but the problem is not religion or other issues, but the main problem is price rise, inflation, economic recession, corruption and livelihood and the poverty. And the growth of economy in Bangladesh is not bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, that the indicators are all showing an upward trajectory. So why is economy an issue? Why is, price rise is something which today is not that bad as it used to be.
In fact, in comparison to India, the GDP, the growth, that is better in Bangladesh.
Imagine, who thought about it, that this aid-dependent economy is actually doing well today, but the ruling party is going to face trouble because of that.
Because the short-term problem and the long-term perspective, there is a gap.
Okay.
Because what they are doing, the people of Bangladesh will get result after some time. Because you have to, if you want to build in a good economy, you have to give time for that. There is a, for growth engine, you need time. The problem is in Dhaka, the short-term employment, unemployment issue, that you have to provide job. There are a lot of populist issues. Now you have to address to those issues. To build up your economy for a long-term basis, but you have to address your short-term demands. So the poverty, and in Bangladesh, what India's strength is that we have a very strong middle-class population, near about 30 crore. After economic liberalization, Bangladesh, Pakistan, all our neighboring countries, especially Bangladesh, what I found that there is a absence of a strong middle class. Either you are very rich or you are poor. So this middle class actually determines the Indian economy, the Bangladesh economy also, always the middle class community they determine. They are the consumers, they are the buyers. Okay. So you have to develop that middle class community, what they are lacking.
But they are the most fickle, the middle class everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
So you can't depend that if but also like when you were talking about this short term goals, Sheikh Hasina knew that she's going in for elections soon. They were there supposed to be held by 2013 or else early 2014. When she knew this is going to happen, then how come there were no populist policies? Every government does this and she knows it.
No, I'm telling you, Sheikh Hasina, it is not true that she has not done anything. She has done a lot of good
I
things.
agree. I'm saying populist policy.
What you are saying populist, the job, then you have to announce the farmers. There is a lot of farmers are actually they are angry because for their loan they cannot pay back. So you can give that space to the farmers, but and they are getting a huge aid from Government of India. That also India has given lot of financial support. But the problem is there is corruption in that system. You have to admit the fact that this World Bank, they stopped aiding to Bangladesh. They have stopped their aid because for the corruption issue.
Yeah.
And there is a major controversy on the bridge issue in the Bangladesh only for corruption. So, this corruption is a major problem what Sheikh Hasina is facing, and you know this opposition, they are boycotting parliament since the very beginning, and with BNP, Jamaat is also a very major force in there, Jamaat plus BNP, it is not only BNP, and Jamaat, they have a followers in Bangladesh.
Now we come to the same issue of the Jamaat wanting their leaders to be taken out. They're in prison because of the war crimes trial, and they want them out. Now, can the BNP, the BNP, it's a major constituent of the BNP. Can the BNP have a distance between the Jamaat and themselves because it is detrimental to their, or is it good for their vote bank?
This is very important question what you have raised, because recently when Khaleda came here and she met Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition and the other leaders, India also suggesting Bangladesh that we don't want any sort of militancy and religious extremism, and Khaleda also assured India, and Khaleda is now trying to project BNP that we are also a secular party, and they are trying to show the world that they are not associated with any sort of militant or religious fanaticism.
Okay.
But I think factually what they are suggesting and the facts, there is a difference.
Okay.
Because still Jamaat is a political space what Khaleda they use for their political victory, political prosperity.
So why should she get rid of that trump card?
So that's why they can
for electoral
victory.
Okay.
Khaleda needs Jamaat, and Jamaat, they have a strength in Bangladesh. So Khaleda cannot ignore Jamaat before election. That is true. But the problem is that now BNP is saying that they will not participate in the election, and their militancy, the movement, it is on. But if they don't participate in the election, because they are saying that only election can take place if there is a neutral administration, and if Sheikh Hasina holds, the election, if she controls the,
that it won't be free and fair.
There will be free and fair election. But what you are saying, that the Jamaat factor in Bangladesh, I am telling you, it's a very interesting thing that in Bangladesh there is a conflict between Islamic identity and the Bengali ethnic identity.
Very interesting.
And when Sheikh Hasina, whenever she comes,
are these two in conflict with each other, or have they always been in conflict with each other?
No, actually it is after the separation from Pakistan, after the 71 war, that Pakistani authority, the hegemony, they tried to preach that Bangladesh
Islamic identity,
Muslim population, so that is the Islamic identity. And after the separation, under the leadership of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they tried to build up the ethnic identity. They said that our freedom, what we got, this is for our Bengali language. That is the ethnic freedom. So this ethnic identity is more important than the fundamentalist Islamic identity. So we are Islamic, but we should not be fundamentalist. So there is a, I think actual real process should be what you are saying, that there should be a combination of Islamic identity and the Bengali identity. That is the ideal situation. But the political parties, one school of political parties, they preach the Islamic identity,
which is the BNP.
Who is the BNP side,
and the
Awami League. They want to say that we are more ethnic identity is more secular identity. Incidentally, we are Muslim.
All right.
But our culture is the Tagore, Nazrul Islam, so it's a Bengali identity.
You see, when it comes to the Bangladeshi people, the masses, they voted either the BNP, which is their Islamic identity, or they voted with the Awami League, which is their Bengali identity. The fact that they're voting one and then the other, and vice versa, is it that even among the people this conflict is really not resolved as yet?
Exactly. I talk to a lot of people of Bangladesh. I go to Dhaka very frequently, and I talk to poor people also, in the districts also, not only Dhaka. I saw that actually people are also victim of this polarization, either or. It's like Congress, BJP in India. So the big political, either you have to go for NDA or UPA. So
no, we have in India
other regional parties also, that is true. But in Bangladesh, these two major political parties, this is the main polarization, although military is very important factor still in Bangladesh. And military usually traditionally after 71, they are more inclined to BNP.
But since 1991, they've kind of been in the barracks, isn't it? But threatening to come all the time.
It has become, political system has become more important, and Sheikh Hasina also developed a good relationship with militia. So now it's a BNP or Awami League, but the general mass, I'm telling you, they are frustrated with this polarization also. One poor man, he told me that this country is, it's a country of two mayas. Two women, and one woman, she says that it is her father's country, and one woman says that it's her husband's country. So country hamara nahi hai kya? It is not my country, he said in Bangla. So I am telling you that there
but
is
this my bap culture is there in all of South Asia.
Asia, exactly.
We can't avoid that system that, you know, many of our politicians consider it their birthright to get into politics, and no one else other than them, and consider their political party something which is handed down generations. Unfortunately, that's the bane of South Asian politics. But when it comes to Bangladesh, I mean, these two ladies don't even, I mean, they accuse each other of the vilest of accusations. I mean, Khaleda has just said that as soon as Sheikh Hasina wakes up in the morning, the first thing she does is start lying. Now, this is the kind of politics, language it's degenerated to, you know.
And I don't understand why they boycotted parliament.
Yeah.
They are boycotting parliament, and not a single day they participated.
Yeah.
This is not democracy. If you have to fight election, you take the mandate of the people. And you have to accept a electoral system.
So will the elections take place if this kind of boycott, hartals, agitation?
It will lead to anarchy. If you are not accepting the system, and if you are just agitation, and I mean, it is not the electoral system. Somehow you have to accept a system. Otherwise, you will lead to the country to anarchy.
And this people are fed up with this kind of hartals
and last time I visited the parliament. And this is very funny because only the ruling party leaders, they were giving speech, and the opposition bench is completely empty. And one leader of Awami League, he was a parliamentarian, and he told us that, you know, the standing committees of the parliament, the BNP members, now they are participating in the standing committee
but not
meetings,
in the parliament. Now, you know, so, if this kind of thing happens in India, the media shows it, and people get angry that we have elected you to be there in parliament, right? So these kind of walkouts and things are not appreciated in India anymore. Does that happen in Bangladesh too when there's boycott and agitation? Do people get annoyed, and does that get conveyed to the BNP?
I think that gradually people are trying to say, they are, I mean, raising their voice that you have to participate in the electoral system. You have to come to the parliament. Then you can raise your issues, you can try to resolve the crisis of our country. Only agitation and only militancy will not resolve the crisis of our country.
That's the maturing of a
new generation also. There is a new generation in the Dhaka University, in the, I mean, all the students and the teenagers.
More informed today.
They are, and IT also reached to Dhaka, and a lot of IT educational institutions I have seen. So a lot of young generation, new mind, modern mind. They are saying
they want political stability now.
The political stability now.
Right. So we do think that there is a, you know, some kind of a hope that it won't be complete anarchy in the months to follow.
Yeah, I think it is difficult to overcome the anarchy and this agitation, the militancy immediately like this. It is very difficult because, you know, lot of forces, different forces are active in Dhaka. They also want destabilizations. You know, there is a process of Talibanization also there. That lot of intelligence reports are coming that other forces, they want to destabilize Bangladesh because the geostrategic position of Bangladesh in Southeast Asia is very important. that Hillary Clinton to several political leaders,
for
they
them
mentioned
to land
it.
up out there.
So this geostrategic position is important. The foreign forces, they want to Talibanize the country. What we want to, neutralize. We want to oppose these forces.
And Bangladesh themselves don't want it, right?
They don't want it. They don't want it.
Yeah, it's regardless of what India wants. It's not good for Bangladesh, and they know it's not good for them.
They are the victim.
That's right.
They are the victim of these forces. Yeah. And you know, but one thing I want to tell you, that Bangladesh, they want to raise, because anti-Indianism and Indianism is a major internal issue of Dhaka. Yeah. And Khaleda used to say anti-Indian slogan, they used to, but
that's
now,
over
now it is over. Now Khaleda is also trying to make friendship with India. We are also trying to build up the friendship with the opposition parties. But I am telling you, this only Tista or the other political issues like the boundary agreement, that is not the problem of Bangladesh. They can show the issues, but it is true that is a major issues in Dhaka. But the domestic other issues like the price rise, like the corruption, like the development,
that's going to impact
that are the main issues in the coming Dhaka election.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us, Jayant.
Thank you. Religion or other issues, but the main problem is price rise, inflation, economic recession, corruption and livelihood and the poverty. And you know, the growth of economy in Bangladesh is not bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, that the indicators are all showing an upward trajectory. So why is economy an issue? Why is, price rise is something which today is not that bad as it used to be.
In fact, in comparison to India, the GDP, the growth, that is better in Bangladesh.
Imagine, and who thought about it, that this aid to us. I'd like to begin by asking you that, you know, the BNP says that it's going to go back into the streets and there are going to be hartals and agitations in Dhaka as well as in other cities and towns. Now, what do we see? Is it a politically volatile situation just before elections? What's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months?
Absolutely, Smita, because Dhaka is volatile now, and Sheikh Hasina, she is a nice person. She may be a secular leader, but the problem is not
dependent economy is actually doing well today, but the ruling party is going to face trouble because of that.
Because the short-term problem and the long-term perspective, there is a gap.
Okay.
Because what they are doing, the people of Bangladesh will get result after some time. Because you have to, if you want to build in a good economy, you have to give time for that. There is a, for growth engine, you need time. The problem is in Dhaka, the short-term employment, unemployment issue, that you have to provide job. There are a lot of populist issues. Now you have to address.
Hello and welcome to Bangladesh Today. Bangladesh seems to be moving towards a politically volatile period. The Jamaat-e-Islami, which is a partner of the main opposition Bangladesh National Party, is demanding the release of its leaders now being tried for war crimes during the Liberation War of 1971. The BNP is also determined to restart hartals and agitations to force the government to put in place a caretaker system before the next general elections. The BNP believes that free and fair polls won't be possible till this happens. The caretaker system had been abolished by the parliament through an amendment to the constitution. To spread more light on this issue, we have with us Jayant Ghoshal, a senior journalist and an expert on India-Bangladesh relations. Thank you, Jayant, for speaking.